Welcome to Seville. Can I get an Olé? We are in the land of Don Juan Carmen and of course that famous barber, the Barber of Sevilla, the area of Spain that inspired over 100 classic operas. Let's explore the land of Sevilla. Come on. Seville is the Disneyland of Spain, a fantasy land of matadors, flamenco dancers, and otherwise outgoing people who enjoy singing and dancing in the streets and reveling in all that is the best of Spain. At least that's how it seemed to us on our recent PhotowalK visit to the city in the south, the capital of Andalusia. Seville is at the bottom of Spain, just up from Gibraltar and Malaga, with Morocco just over the strait, about 2 hours away. The capital city of Madrid is a 2.5-hour train ride north from Seville, and Barcelona is 6 hours away. After Christopher Columbus's 1492 voyage, Seville became the economic center of the Spanish Empire, the dominant place for trade, which made it a very wealthy city, and later it became known as the capital of flamenco in the country. Now, we showed you modern Spain and Barcelona in the first segment. Seville is old Spain, even today, where the shops close in the middle of the day, every day, because it's siesta time. Seville is Moorish palaces, flamenco, cobblestone streets, and of course, all those tapas. The city itself is divided into two, Oldtown and modern Seville. Oldtown is considered one of the largest old towns in Europe, home to the big Seville Cathedral and all those great, really narrow back streets. This is the area most tourists stay in and explore. The new town, Triana, really isn't that new. It's just more modern than Old Town. Seville is a very, very walkable city. I put a 90-minute photo walk around town together for you. Details about the walk on our website, photowalksTV.com. The walk will take you from the cathedral in the center of the town through the tiny curved streets of the Santa Cruz barrio, over to the tower and across the street to the Triana district. So your Sevilla postcard shots are going to include the cathedral, Alcázar, tower, the bullfight arena, the Triana district. I happen to love the street photography and, speaking of streets, these really tiny, out-of-the-way streets. Cars actually drive up and down them, if you can believe it. They're a lot of fun to explore and to photograph. If you're like me and you're on the hunt for a cool overhead shot of the city, hands down, that's going to be Torre del Oro. A few euros will let you climb up all the way to the top and look out over the river to the Triana district, as well as back towards Seville and that giant cathedral. From there, walk across the bridge to the Triana district, which is known for the big food market, local tapas bars, and a lot of shops that specialize in ceramic tiles. Most tourists also visit the Alcázar, a former castle dating back to the year 913. It's quite the photo spot. Our tip is to buy your tickets in advance, otherwise you could be standing online, as in like a real line, for hours. The guidebooks will tell you that the only way to see a flamenco show is to pay top dollar and go to one of the restaurants or theaters, but don't pay them no heed. You will see flamenco dancers on the streets. Just give them a tip and you will catch some great dancing and some great music. If you know anything about Seville, you know about that famous barber whose name was, say it with me everyone, Figaro, 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 Figaro. He was the main character in the opera, which began life as a 1775 French play and premiered in Rome with music in 1816. The barber was sort of a matchmaker who wasn't humble. It was he who sang the famous line, Figaro, and it was he that became the inspiration to hundreds of operas since. Now, speaking of entertainment, let's talk about the controversial practice of bullfighting, which is illegal in many parts of Spain, most notably Barcelona. It was largely developed in Seville and is still practiced today in one of the oldest and most iconic buildings in Spain, the Bullfight Arena, which was built in 1761. Bullfighting goes back to Roman times, where nobles fought bulls on horseback to display their bravery. In 1726, a local civilian decided to try something a little different, fighting on foot with a sword and red cape, and thus the next era of bullfighting was born. As far as getting that great shot of a matador, well, you have a few choices. One is just to snap a photo of any of the iconic bullfighting posters. Another is to go over to the bullfighting arena and shoot some of the statues. Or third is to do what I do, 21 euros to go to the bullfight in Seville. This is where I indeed picked up some of my favorite photos of the matadors taken from different angles at the arena. Our photo tip segment where I show you how to get great vacation photos with your phone. Tips for shooting when you are in the inside is you're going to be surrounded by people and they're going to be in your shot. Just wait, because there's always a moment when they step away. The other thing is there's a lot of windows and you can get over their heads. Just reach up. The place is so huge, you will pick up plenty on your camera with all those people being in the way, trust me. Meanwhile, two more tips. A great feature on smartphones is the ability to make widescreen panoramas from side to side, but you can also do what's called a tall pano, from going from the bottom all the way up to the top. Give it a try. Remember that the phone doesn't always get the exposure perfect inside a place like the Giralda. The computer is trying to expose for the entire room, and thus the beautiful glass looks too light. Change the exposure by adjusting the sundial on the screen. Your exposure sundial, you put your finger on the screen, it comes right up, and then yank it all the way down as dark as possible, and those stained glass windows will look a lot better. Now let's look at several key photos from this episode and what we can learn from them. So this shot at Casa Güell is lit just right without any crowds in front of the Gaudi masterpiece. And why do you think that was? Well, I beat the throngs by coming out before they arrived, like just before sunrise, which also allowed me to see the building all lit up and glistening in the morning before the sun rose. Speaking of Gaudi, there's so much to keep you busy inside, so much to look at, but here are two great tips. Look straight ahead at what's in front of you, of course, but also shoot up and shoot down. This really offers a great perspective of the wild Gaudi buildings. You'll probably want to use your ultra-wide-angle lens on your phone, the 0.5 for this. Another tip, many of the Gaudi buildings will let you go to the rooftop, and this is a great place to pick up terrific views of the city. And of course, it's another chance to look down at the world without having to invest in a drone. So taking photos in a crowd is tough, but turning the lens on all the tourists makes for a great shot. Try it, and for an extra kick, bring your street photography to another level by shooting through the amazing Gaudi windows for a different look at the tourists. Yes, the crowds can seem overwhelming, but you know you can ditch them by getting off La Rambla and hitting the side streets. This is where you're going to get your best shots just by looking around at the alleys, murals, you name it. Be attentive. When you shoot the free concert at the cathedral on Sunday afternoon, be a photographer. And by that I mean get it all. Get the wide shot of the band and the dancers, but make sure to use your telephoto lens, the 2x, 3x, or 5x, depending on which phone you have, to get close-ups of the musicians as well, because those will really pop. Do you need the latest phone with the coolest accessories? You tell me. This is my favorite photo from the Barcelona sessions. Was it taken on an iPhone 16 Pro? No. The 15 Pro? Nope. I actually shot it with the 14, the phone from 2022. You don't always need the latest and greatest. The older phones are pretty cool too. If you're lucky enough to get a hotel room with a balcony as we did, take advantage of the situation. You know what that means, right? Got to talk about time-lapse videos, right? Barcelona, at least when we visited, attracted some really great crowds and clouds. And those clouds make a really great time lapse come alive. You'll need a tripod and a phone mount to fit in your phone, as you can't shoot a time lapse without it. You can't hold the phone handheld. I usually shoot for about an hour or two, so trust me, it's not going to happen. For these videos, I use the Relapse app, which I prefer over the native iPhone time-lapse app, which is totally automatic. Alrighty, inspired to take some great photos? I would love to see them, and I know viewers of PhotowalksTV would love to see your work as well. PhotowalksTV@gmail.com. Send us some of your images for consideration for showing on a future episode. And just by submitting, you are also entering our monthly giveaway contest. So why not? I'm Jefferson Graham, and I'll look forward to seeing your photos and seeing you on the next Photo Walk.